Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Jeffrey, physical therapist, and today's video will be 5 things I've learned after being a physical therapist for 5 years. So most of you guys know I am more of a neurological physical therapist, so the population I treat, mostly neuro. So quick disclaimer, some of my views, opinions from this list might be more biased towards that, since I work mainly with the neurological population. I'm still at the same place that I started work 5 years ago. So recently I was promoted to level 3 physical therapist, which is the final level at our clinic. So there's level 1, 2, 3. Level 2 you can apply after working for 2 years there, and level 3 is after working for 5 years. Of course, with new title, new role comes more responsibilities. So I am part of different committees and different things that I have to do. So right now, some of my specialties include treating Parkinson's patients. I'm LSVT certified, seeing more of amputee patients as well. I've been getting more into that the past year or two, getting into seeing pulmonary patients. Enough with the life update, let's get to our list. So number 1, I've learned that PTs, physical therapists, are very much like coaches and teachers. So we do quite a bit of teaching, and similar to coaches, we have to guide our patients, motivate them to do their exercises or to carry out a certain treatment plan. And similarly to teachers, I feel like when I go into a treatment session, I have my game plan or lesson plan. And of course, sometimes it doesn't go as planned, especially when you treat the neuro population. But I go in with a plan, and I have certain goals that I want to try to help the patients achieve. Throughout the session, I'm educating the patients on their condition, on why we're doing these certain things, and just doing a lot of educating, which I've learned is super important, and kind of empowering patients to take the care into their own hands. Number 2, PT and rehab is actually more gray than I thought. And what I mean by that is the black and white that we learned back in school, a lot of things saying that this thing causes this thing, or if you work on this will get better. Throughout the years, I've learned that that's not quite true either, and how like a weak core can cause back pain. So we work on the core a lot. You learn that it's just mostly an association, not really a cause. So back pain caused by lots of different other factors, and just like pain is multifactorial. So a lot of things come into play, and you've learned educating patients on that is just as important. In neuro, we always say the answer, it depends, which is very true. I know patients want a direct answer. They want yes or no, but a lot of times I do have to give the answer, it depends, because that's what's true. It really does depend on the individual, which makes a lot of the things in the gray area. Number 3, passive treatments and manual therapy are not as important as I once thought. So back in school, we learned all these manual therapy techniques, and we learn about the importance of ice, heat, different modalities. Although those things have their role in rehab and can be beneficial at times, you realize that those things are not as important, especially if you're looking at the overall outcomes of the patients and their recovery. Those things definitely don't matter as much. What matters is, like I've mentioned before, educating the patients and making sure they understand what are some things that might be causing their pain, what are some things that they can control, not just through exercising, but also sleep, diet, and just being active. All right, number 4, the more you learn, you realize the less you know. And throughout the years, I've definitely felt this, especially with getting more into evidence-based practice and learning about different conditions and the research behind those things. You realize that things are always changing, and what we once thought was true is not as applicable today. And there's always new research coming out, and you realize it's not very black and white, like I mentioned before. A lot of it is in the gray. Lots of research still going on, especially with the different neurological conditions that I treat. You just try your best to follow the clinical practice guidelines and making sure you stay up to date with the current research. And luckily at work, we have a librarian that emails out like a list of new published articles, I believe once every couple months or whenever they come. So I usually go through a list, and I find articles that interest me or is more relevant to the population that I treat, and I go through them and try to increase my knowledge in those areas so I can be a better clinician for the patients. And some people I follow on social media that I think provide amazing resources, and they're just great therapist is E3 Rehab. I believe they have Instagram, YouTube, and I follow Adam Meekins. I listen to their podcasts and they always put out some good content. Number 5, being a physical therapist is not as physical as I once thought. And of course, this is setting dependent. So depending on what setting you work in, you might have to do more physical work compared to other settings. For me, I'm more of a mix with the neuro population. So sometimes if I do get more of the lower level patients that require max total assist and you have to do transfers and lifting, we do get more physical. And then for the higher level patients that can go on longer walks, so we take them to a long walking area to work on endurance and balance along the way. So I do get my steps in when I treat those kind of patients. But a lot of times we are mostly sitting, talking to patients, and of course the dreaded documentation. I don't document during the treatment sessions because a lot of my patients require that hands-on attention, so especially for safety. But I document at the end of the day. Sometimes it might take an hour, 2 hours, but of course I'm mostly sitting at a computer doing that. So yeah, the documentation is sometimes it piles up. I wouldn't say necessarily this is a bad thing, but if you think physical therapy is just physical all the time, that's just not true. All right, so that's my 5 things that I've learned after being a physical therapist for 5 years. If you guys enjoyed the information, give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments below if there's other topics that you guys want me to talk about. And thank you guys for watching.